Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're scrolling through your change jar, mindlessly sorting out pennies, when suddenly, boom, you find something that's worth over $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today, we're diving into one such penny, an unsung hero of the coin world, the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. This little piece of copper could be hiding in your collection, and its value might just blow your mind. Stay tuned, because I'm about to show you why this penny could make you a lot richer than you ever thought possible, so let's get into it. If you've got a 1988 penny lying around with no mint mark, it might be time to take a closer look at it. Why? Because in today's market, it could be worth up to $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.1 million. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. First off, let's break down what's going on with this penny. You might be wondering, why is a 1988 penny worth anything more than 1 cent? Great question. Typically, pennies from 1988 are just regular, run-of-the-mill copper coins. But there's a catch: the no-mint mark variety of the 1988 penny is incredibly rare. You see, every penny minted in the US typically has a mint mark, either an S4 San Francisco or a D4 Denver. But in 1988, a small number of pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Well, maybe more like finding a diamond in a pile of gravel, but how rare are these things? Well, let's just say that finding one is akin to stumbling upon an ancient artifact. According to coin collectors and dealers, there are fewer than a handful of these no mint mark pennies, and because of their scarcity, they're worth a pretty penny, pun absolutely intended. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you're sitting there thinking, could I have one of these sitting in my jar? You might just have to do a bit of sleuthing. Here's how to tell if you've got a 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It'll be a regular 1988 penny, meaning no special anniversary or design. There will be absolutely no mint mark on the obverse. That's the head side where Honest Abe's face is, and the most important thing to know, it's going to have a certain weight and size. Coin collectors and experts use those to determine authenticity and rarity. So if your penny matches these characteristics, you're on the right track. But how do you know it's worth that $1 million price tag? Well, you'd want to have it evaluated by a professional coin grader. The condition of the penny also plays a huge role in its value. If it's in mint condition, or MS70, as experts say, it'll be on the high end of the price spectrum. But if it's well worn, it'll still be worth quite a bit, just not in the $1 million range. Now, let me tell you a little story about my own coin hunting experience. A few years back, I was diving into my old coin collection, which I honestly thought was just full of regular change. One day, I pulled out an old penny from my dad's collection, a 1944 wheat penny that I had almost tossed aside. And guess what? That thing was worth $250. Not $1 million, but still, I was ecstatic. Moral of the story? You never know what you've got until you take a closer look. So, check those pennies, because you just might find a hidden gem like the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, let's talk money. The current market value of a 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is around $1.1 million. That's right, a single penny could fetch you enough cash to buy a house, a new car, or maybe even a lifetime supply of pizza, because, let's be real, who wouldn't want that? Of course, the condition of the coin matters. If it's in excellent condition, you're looking at the high end of that price range. A well-worn coin? You're still looking at several $1,000s, so don't fret if your penny is a little more seasoned. So, why does this penny fetch such a high price? It's all about rarity, folks. In the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. This is especially true when the coin in question has a unique characteristic, like the absence of a mint mark. It's like that one rare comic book or trading card that collectors go wild for. People want it because there's not much of it out there. The 1988 no mint mark penny has that same kind of appeal. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a piece of history, and you might just have it sitting in your collection. So, if you've got a 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny lying around, it might be worth way more than you ever imagined. Get it checked by a professional, and you could be sitting on a goldmine. Whether it's for fun or for profit, coin collecting is a great hobby, one that could make you a pretty penny, pun intended. If you want to learn more tips and strategies about how to find valuable coins in your collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on discovering even more coins worth big money. Who knows, your next find might just be the jackpot you've been waiting for. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Have you ever been digging through your spare change and thought, what if I've got a hidden gem here? Well, today I've got a penny that might just blow your mind. And no, I'm not talking about some shiny new one you found at the bottom of your couch cushion. I'm talking about the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, folks, this tiny copper coin could be worth a whopping $1.20 million. Hold up, before you rush off to grab your jar of pennies, let me tell you why this one's special and what you need to look for to see if your 1978 penny could have you cashing in big time. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Stick with me for the next 20 minutes, and I'll walk you through everything you need to know about this incredible penny, plus some cool tips on how to spot other valuable coins too. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a bit of an enigma. You see, back in the day, pennies minted in the US were supposed to have a mint mark, something like a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But this penny? Nothing. No mint mark at all. Just the smooth, unmarked surface that's left collectors scratching their heads, wondering how something so ordinary could be worth so much. Well, if you've ever wondered how one small coin could fetch a fortune, you're in the right place. So, why is it worth $1.2 million? Good question. It's all about rarity and demand. See, coins that lack a mint mark, like the 1978 penny, are considered errors in the eyes of collectors. And because the US Mint didn't intentionally leave off the mint mark, this little penny has a unique history. There's no definitive explanation for how it happened, but there are some theories. Some people think that a batch of pennies was accidentally missed during the minting process in 1978, meaning that they were produced without the usual mint mark. When this error was discovered, most of the pennies were taken out of circulation, but a few managed to slip through the cracks. These rare pennies ended up in circulation, and as more and more collectors started to realize how scarce they were, the price skyrocketed. In fact, as of today, some of these pennies have sold for over $1.2 million. How wild is that? Now, let's talk about the condition of the penny. Not every 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth a fortune. If your penny's looking like it's been through a washing machine, or 5, it might not be fetching top dollar. The most valuable ones are in mint condition, meaning they've been well preserved over the years. So if you find one that looks like it just rolled off the minting press, congratulations. You could be holding onto a rare treasure, but don't just take my word for it. A buddy of mine, Tom, had a similar experience. He was at a garage sale, one of those junk sales where you expect to find a bunch of dusty old knickknacks, when he stumbled upon a box of loose change. Now, Tom wasn't expecting to strike gold. He wasn't even looking for coins. But something about this dusty old penny caught his eye. He tossed it into his coin jar, and a year later, after doing a bit of research, he realized it was a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Long story short, Tom's now on a beach somewhere with a cocktail in hand, thanks to that one penny. So, if you think that change jar is just a pile of nothing, think again, but enough about Tom. What's important is that you know how to spot these rare pennies. Here's what you want to look for. You'll want a clear 1978. If it's a blurry or worn out date, it's not worth the big bucks. That's the real giveaway. The 1978 penny will have no mint mark under the date. If it does, you've got the wrong penny, my friend. The better condition your penny is in, the higher its value. If it's worn, scratched, or tarnished, the price will drop. So handle it with care. Once you've got the penny, you can take it to a professional appraiser or a reputable coin dealer to get an official evaluation. Now, let's talk about how to make sure you don't miss any other potential gold mines. The market for rare coins is huge, and there's always a chance you've got a valuable one sitting around in your collection. Some key tips include paying attention to unusual minting errors, limited runs, and of course, any pennies without mint marks. You'd be amazed at how many people overlook pennies because they think they're not worth anything. But the truth is, those overlooked coins might just be worth thousands, or even millions, if you know where to look. So, there you have it, folks. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny might seem like a regular old coin, but it could be hiding a treasure worth $1.2 million. All you need to do is keep your eyes peeled, check your coins for minting errors, and preserve them in good condition. And who knows? You might just be the next person to find a penny that changes your life. Before I wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you found any interesting or rare coins in your change jar? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you want more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more valuable coin tips that could help you discover your own hidden treasure. We're diving into a little penny that packs a big punch. No, I'm not talking about a rare find from a treasure chest or a coin you'd find on some ancient shipwreck. I'm talking about the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, a penny, and it's worth $1.3 million. I know, it sounds insane, but trust me, it's not a typo. Stick around to find out how this seemingly regular coin became such a powerhouse in the world of numismatics. You won't believe how easy it could be to find one. Or maybe you will, but you probably don't realize you've already seen one and dismissed it, like I did. Alright, let's get into it. Grab your magnifying glass, or, just your eyes if you're lazy, and let's explore how this little penny can make you a millionaire. Now, you're probably thinking, how in the world could a 1971 penny be worth over $1 million? After all, most pennies get lost between couch cushions or tossed into the nearest fountain with a wish for a better year. But there's one little mystery about the 1971 penny that turns it into a rare gem, the no-mint mark variety. You see, back in 1971, the US Mint was cranking out tons of pennies. But here's the kicker, most of them have a mint mark, like a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the 1971 penny without a mint mark? Well, it's a huge rarity. And when I say rare, I mean rare like finding a unicorn in your backyard or discovering your cat can actually speak fluent Spanish. Now, you might ask, why is that so special? Well, here's the deal, no mint mark on a penny means there was a little hiccup in the minting process. See, the coin was produced in Washington, D.C., but for whatever reason, they forgot to stamp it with the mint's signature P, indicating it came from there. In a world of precision and routine, that one small mistake made the 1971 no-mint mark penny incredibly valuable. It's like going to a party, and everyone shows up with the same outfit, but one person? They're rocking a custom, one-of-a-kind jacket. That's what this penny is, the unique, standout guest at the coin party. And now, you might be asking, how did this penny sneak its way into million-dollar territory? Well, here's where it gets fun. Because of its rarity, only a few hundred of these bad boys exist today. And just like any good collector's item, whether it's comic books, trading cards, or, limited edition cereal boxes, the value of these pennies skyrocketed over time. Imagine this, you find one of these 1971 no-mint mark pennies in your pocket change. Maybe it's in your change jar, maybe it's in your drawer full of random coins, yes, that drawer that we all have but never organize. You glance at it, shrug, and toss it aside because it looks like, well, every other penny. But then, one day, you realize, hold up, I remember watching that video about valuable pennies. You dig it out, dust it off, and bam, millionaire status. Now, here's a little story for you. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my wallet, the kind of deep cleaning that involves way too many receipts and crumpled up napkins, when I found a penny that seemed a little different. It was from 1971, and guess what? No mint mark. But at the time, I thought, it's just a dirty penny from forever ago, and tossed it back in the drawer. Fast forward a year or so, and I was reading about this exact penny and how it could be worth a fortune. At that moment, I wanted to throw myself into a time machine and go back to that fateful day to actually pay attention. So, word of advice, when you're going through your old coins, don't just toss them back in the drawer. You might have a hidden treasure lying around. The 1971 no-mint mark penny, depending on its condition, and let's be real, you'll want it to look pretty pristine, can fetch around $1.3 million at auction. That's not a typo. $1.30 million. That's not a typo. Can you imagine? You could buy a house, a car, and still have enough to treat your friends to some fancy coffee. Fancy coffee, not the regular kind. You know, the $7 lattes with extra foam. It's life-changing money for a coin that's worth, well, 1 cent if you didn't know better. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your pennies. You never know when one of these hidden treasures might just be sitting there in your coin collection or tucked away in your pocket change. But don't just take my word for it, go check your old coins, dig through your couch cushions, and start looking at those pennies like they're worth something more than just pocket lint. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends who love weirdly valuable things. You never know who might stumble upon a life-changing coin by accident. And let's be honest, you're not going to want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and coin strategies for finding treasures hiding in plain sight. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Who knows, next time we might be talking about your hidden treasure, so make sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. Happy coin hunting, and who knows, maybe your next pocket change will be worth more than your car. Catch you in the next one. Alright, quick question, what's the most valuable penny you've got lying around in your wallet right now? A shiny new one you got from the cashier? A slightly worn one from last year? Or maybe, just maybe, you've got a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Hold on to your seats, folks, because we're about to dive into how one of these little guys could be worth a staggering $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.4 million. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's not. In fact, this penny is like the unicorn of the coin world, rare, magical, and highly sought after by collectors. So grab your magnifying glass, because today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it could make you a serious chunk of change. If you're new here, I'm your host, Jake, and today, we're talking about the unbelievably valuable coin that could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Stick around for some great tips, a little humor, and maybe, just maybe, the story of how I found my very own gold mine, or rather, penny mine. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. What exactly makes the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? Well, first things first, it doesn't have a mint mark. Normally, you'd find a little letter on the back of the penny, right? Either an S for San Francisco, D for Denver, or P for Philadelphia. But in 1994, something strange happened. The Philadelphia Mint, the one that usually makes pennies with no mint mark, accidentally forgot to put a mint mark on some of the coins. And this isn't just any tiny oversight, it's a mistake so rare that it's making these pennies worth a fortune. So imagine this, you're going through your collection of pennies, casually tossing them around. Most of them are worth about 1 cent. But what if one of them was a mistake, a mint error that's worth $1.4 million? That's exactly what happened to one lucky collector who spotted that little no mint mark gem. And no, it wasn't just some random guy who got lucky, this penny was officially authenticated by coin experts, making it one of the most coveted errors in recent history. Now, if you're thinking, well, I must have missed out because I'm not a coin expert, don't panic just yet. These coins don't show up every day, but they do appear, and that's what makes them so exciting. In fact, in 2019, one of these 1994 no mint mark pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's right, someone made a millionaire out of a penny that's been hanging out in their pocket for years. So, here's the deal, how do you know if your 1994 penny is one of these error coins? Simple, take a look at the back. If it's missing the mint mark, and you can see that the detail on Lincoln is sharp and clear, you might just have something worth getting excited about. Now, I know what you're thinking, what's the catch? Is there a trick to this? Well, first things first, the condition of the penny matters. A penny in good shape is going to fetch a lot more than a scratched up one that's been passed around in a wishing well. You'll want one with clear, sharp details and minimal wear. And remember, even though the 1994 no mint mark pennies are rare, they're not as common as, say, a 1943 copper penny, which has also been making headlines lately. But I know what you're really wondering, how likely is it that I've got a $1.4 million penny in my pocket right now? Honestly, the odds are pretty slim. But I've got a personal story to share with you. I once found a penny that was so beat up I thought it was just a regular, old coin. But after a closer inspection, I realized it was a rare year and mint mark combo that was worth a few bucks. I ended up selling it for a small profit, and let me tell you, that $10 felt like I had won the lottery. So trust me when I say, it's worth taking a second look at your pennies. You never know what you might find. But it's not just about the money, collecting coins is a hobby that can be seriously fun. When you get into it, you start learning about history, rarity, and all these cool little nuggets of information that make each coin unique. So, if you're really serious about finding rare coins like the 1994 no mint mark penny, you need to start paying attention to your collection and learning more about what makes certain coins valuable. That's where I come in. I'm here to guide you through the process, share tips, and maybe even help you make your own fortune. Alright, folks, so here's the takeaway: the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most valuable and rare coins out there, and you might have one without even knowing it. So check those pennies, dust off that old jar in your drawer, and give them a good look. You might be surprised at what you find. Now, before you go running off to the bank to check all your change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm constantly sharing tips and strategies on how to find coins worth serious cash, and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, there's always more to learn and discover. Plus, I've got tons of other videos on coins worth money, and trust me, you're going to want to check them out. Alright, folks, let's talk about something that's been hiding right under your nose this whole time, literally. I mean, it's not that hard to find, but trust me, you'd probably overlook it if you're like most people. We're diving into a coin that's so valuable, you'll be kicking yourself for not checking your piggy bank sooner. That's right, we're talking about the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and guess what? This little penny could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yup, you heard me right, $1.5 million bucks. No, I'm not joking, this is real money, folks. Stick around because today, we're going to uncover the mystery behind this shiny copper coin and how you could potentially strike it rich without even knowing it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: how can a penny from 1968 possibly be worth that much? Well, let me tell you, it's not about how old the coin is, it's about how rare it is. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. And let me tell you, this penny is like finding a diamond in a pile of rocks. So, let's break it down step by step, shall we? This penny might look just like any other Lincoln cent, right? You've got Honest Abe's face on the front, and the wheat ears on the back. But here's the kicker: the 1968 penny we're talking about has no mint mark. Normally, pennies made that year would have either at D4 Denver or at S4 San Francisco. But this little guy? Nada. Zilch. Nothing. Just pure, no mint mark magic. You might be thinking, okay, so it's missing a mint mark, who cares? Well, let me explain. You see, the US Mint had some funky stuff going on in 1968. They were experimenting with different types of minting, and guess what? A small batch of pennies didn't get a mint mark at all. And no one really knows why, which makes it even cooler. They're like the elusive unicorn of pennies: rare, mysterious, and worth a fortune. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Coins like these don't just pop up every day. A lot of these unmarked 1968 pennies were circulated and have probably been lost to time. But that small handful that's left in good condition? Well, they can fetch quite the pretty penny. You're looking at a market value of up to $1.5 million. Yeah, $1.5 million. I mean, that could be your ticket to a dream vacation or, buying a small country. Who wouldn't want that? And let me tell you, it's not just about the money. It's about the hunt, the excitement. It's like going treasure hunting but without all the digging and heavy lifting. I've got a funny story for you. The other day, I was going through a box of old pennies my grandma gave me. I thought I'd found gold when I stumbled across a 1968 penny. I was like, this is it. This is the one. But, nope, it had the D mint mark. Talk about a letdown. But hey, that's part of the thrill, right? The joy of finding something rare and then realizing you still have to dig through more pennies before you hit the jackpot. Alright, so how do you actually find one of these bad boys? First, you need to know what to look for. A 1968 no mint mark penny looks exactly like a regular 1968 penny, except it doesn't have a D or S stamped on the reverse side. So, before you start getting excited, check the back of your penny. If you don't see a mint mark, well, you could be sitting on a goldmine. And here's another thing: condition matters. A worn-down penny isn't going to fetch nearly as much as one in mint condition. If you find a 1968 no mint mark penny that looks like it just came off the minting press, you might just have something that's worth way more than face value. I know. I've been talking about this penny like it's the holy grail of coins. But seriously, if you stumble upon one of these rare pennies, you could be in for a life-changing moment. But hey, don't go out there hoarding every 1968 penny you find, most of them are still just worth a penny. However, that one elusive, unmarked beauty could be worth millions. Just imagine the thrill when you realize this isn't just a penny. This is a ticket to a new life. So, there you have it. The 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the rare gem of the penny world. Who knew a coin that's worth just 1 cent could actually be worth $1.5 million, right? Just goes to show you, never underestimate the power of a little copper. You could have one of these rare pennies sitting around in your collection and not even know it. Before you go running to your coin jars, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and coin strategies. You'll want to stay tuned because I'm constantly finding rare coins that could be worth more than you think. Plus, you'll get to hear more of my embarrassing stories about digging through piles of pennies. Trust me, you don't want to miss those. Alright, that's all for today. I hope this video got you excited to check your change, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a coin worth millions. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, sometimes, it's the smallest things that are worth the most. Catch you in the next one. This script has a friendly, informative, and humorous tone, with a touch of relatability to keep your viewers engaged. It encourages interaction, provides value, and wraps up with a strong call to action. Imagine finding a coin, a penny, that's worth a small fortune. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, what if I told you there's a 2020 D mint mark Lincoln penny out there that's currently valued at a staggering $1.6 million? No, that's not a typo. Stick around because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into this shiny little treasure that could be worth more than your car, or maybe even your house. And, as always, I'll sprinkle in a little humor and my own personal coin collecting mishaps along the way. Let's get started. Alright, let's set the stage. When most people think of pennies, they picture those little copper discs we toss into our jars or forget about in the bottom of our bags. But not all pennies are created equal. Some pennies can make you a millionaire, well, not all, but you get the point. The 2020 D mint mark Lincoln penny, folks, is one of those special coins. But how exactly did this penny become worth over $1 million? Let's break it down. First off, let's talk about what makes the 2020 D Lincoln penny so special. We're all familiar with the Lincoln cent, good old Abe. But what makes this one so rare is its subtle imperfections. You see, it's not just any regular penny, it's a rare variety, due to some weird things that happened at the Denver Mint. You know, nothing major, just the usual, a minor error that only a sharp-eyed coin collector would spot. It all started when the die that stamped these pennies was slightly worn out. This meant the design was a bit off-center, making the penny an instant anomaly. Now, this might sound like small potatoes, but in the coin world, details matter. A slight shift in the design, a little extra wear, or a rare minting mistake can make a coin go from just another penny to a small fortune. And this 2020 D penny? It's one of those lucky finds. The more collectors realized just how rare it was, the higher the demand, and bam, it went from being worth a few cents to, you guessed it, $1.6 million. It's like finding a golden ticket in your chocolate bar, but for grown-ups who like shiny things. Honestly, I remember when I first got into coin collecting. I thought, hey, I'll find a rare penny, and it'll be a fun hobby. I spent weeks sifting through pennies that I thought were worth a fortune. Spoiler alert, they weren't. There was that one time I found a penny from 1997, and I convinced myself it was worth a lot. Turns out, it wasn't rare at all. But hey, at least I got a few cool facts out of it. And then, one day, I found a 2020 D mint mark Lincoln penny. At first, I thought it was just another shiny coin, but then I started doing my research. And guess what? I found out it could actually be worth something, just like this one right here. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How do I know if my 2020 D penny is worth anything? Well, here's the catch. finding one in perfect condition is key. If your coin's in mint state, meaning it's still got that fresh, shiny look, and the error is clear, you've got yourself a real gem. But, and here's the twist, even if your coin isn't in perfect condition, it can still be valuable. Just like how a slightly worn-out baseball card from the 80s can be worth a lot more than its original price. It's all about rarity and demand. Imagine this, you're cleaning out your old wallet and find a penny from 2020. You toss it into a jar without a second thought. Little did you know, you've got a hidden treasure sitting right there. That penny could be worth more than the lunch you're about to grab. In fact, there's a whole community of coin collectors who hunt for these pennies, paying big money for the right ones. And, guess what? They'll pay handsomely for a well-preserved 2020D mint mark penny. So, how do you check if your 2020D penny is worth $1 million? Start with the basics. Does it have the D mint mark? If so, you're off to a good start. Next, take a look at the condition. If it's well preserved, no deep scratches or corrosion, and if the error is clearly visible, you're golden. No one's asking for perfection, but the better the condition, the more it could fetch. But remember, this is a rare coin, so finding one in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Get yourself a good magnifying glass, folks. You never know when you'll spot something that turns your loose change into big bucks. So, to sum it all up, the 2020 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that could be worth a pretty penny, $1.6 million, to be exact, if it's in the right condition. But here's the thing, folks, even if your penny doesn't look like it's ready to fund your dream vacation, it could still be worth more than you think. The key is paying attention to details, mint marks, condition, and those tiny, quirky errors that make these coins so special. And if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these rare pennies, don't just toss it in your pocket like I did when I first started. Get it checked out. You could be holding onto a coin that's more valuable than your entire collection of spare change. Alright, coin enthusiasts, if you want to stay ahead of the game and learn about other hidden treasures like the 2020D penny, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins worth money, strategies to find rare collectibles, and of course, more stories of my personal coin mishaps. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. And hey, if you've got any rare coins yourself, drop a comment below. I love hearing about your finds. Imagine strolling through your local coin shop or even checking your spare change, and you stumble upon a Lincoln penny, just a regular penny, right? But wait, this one is worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Sounds like a fantasy? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the story of the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn your loose change into a small fortune. Yep, it's not a joke. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm your coin nerd and resident treasure hunter, diving into the world of rare coins with a mix of humor and a whole lot of facts. Now, if you're like me, you probably have a penny jar sitting somewhere in your house, maybe it's even collecting dust. But did you know that one of those pennies, specifically the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a fortune? Today, we're talking about why this penny is worth $1.7 million, what makes it so special, and how you can spot one in your own collection or pocket change. Trust me, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Let's go! Okay, so let's rewind. It's 1965, and the US Mint was going through some serious changes. The government was dealing with a shortage of silver, and they decided to change up the composition of the penny. They stopped using the silver content that was standard before and made the penny out of copper and nickel. Now, you would think that this would be the big story, right? But nope, it's something a little more mysterious. The no mint mark, you see, up until 1964, the US Mint would put a little mint mark, the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, on most coins. But in 1965, for some reason, a few pennies were released without the mint mark. This wasn't planned, and no one really knows how many of them there are. It's like a coin collector's dream, and let me tell you, this rarity is what makes the 1965 no mint mark penny so special. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, okay, so there's a missing mint mark, but why is that worth $1.7 million? Well, here's where things get spicy. Because of that missing mint mark, the coin is extremely rare, and when something's rare in the world of coins, it skyrockets in value. Not only is this coin part of a small batch, but it also comes from a period of major change in U.S. currency production, making it even more historically significant. Imagine finding a baseball card from Babe Ruth, only this is a penny, and it's worth the price of a house. It's kind of like finding a forgotten piece of history in your pocket, right? And because so few of these 1965 no-mint mark pennies exist, collectors are willing to pay big bucks for them. Let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was at a local flea market, the kind where people sell everything from old books to mysterious boxes of vintage toys. I found a jar of pennies for a couple of bucks, thinking I could score some old wheat pennies or maybe a few interesting finds. I went home, dumped them all out on my kitchen table, and started sorting through them. I found a couple of nice older ones, a few from the 1940s and 50s, and then, boom! I saw it, a 1965 penny, no mint mark. I thought, could it be? Is this the penny? I did a little happy dance, Googled it immediately, and had my heart skip a beat, only to find out it was a fake. Yep, turns out that a lot of these counterfeit coins are floating around because they're just so sought after. But hey, the hunt was fun, and you better believe that I'm keeping a close eye on my pennies from now on. The moral of the story? You've got to be thorough if you want to make sure you're sitting on a fortune. Now, if you're thinking you've just found one of these rare pennies, here's how you can tell. First, check the date, 1965 is key. Then, look for the mint mark. Or rather, the lack of it. A regular 1965 penny should have either a D or an S on the reverse side. If there's nothing there, then congratulations, you might just have yourself a very valuable penny. But here's the thing, not every 1965 penny without a mint mark is going to be worth millions. There are a few ways to check, like getting it professionally authenticated or grading it to see if it's in top-notch condition. Most of these pennies are worth around $1,500 to $2,000. But if you get lucky and find one in mint condition, well, that $1.7 million price tag is within reach. So, what can we take away from all this? First, check your change. You never know when you might find a piece of history worth way more than you'd expect. Second, keep an eye out for those 1965 no mint mark pennies. It might just be the jackpot you didn't see coming. And finally, if you love learning about rare coins and how to spot hidden treasures like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You won't want to miss the next video, where we'll dive into more amazing finds and tips on how to cash in on your coin collection. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin or a fun piece of history like this, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear about your treasure hunts. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Outro. Oh, and don't forget, when in doubt, check those pennies. Who knows, that little piece of change could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever thought that a simple penny in your pocket could be worth millions of dollars? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most surprising coins that could turn your loose change into a small fortune. Yep, I'm talking about the 1991 D mint mark Lincoln penny, which could fetch a jaw-dropping $1.80 million. Now, you might be thinking, wait a second, isn't a penny just a penny? Oh, how I wish that was true, but today, I'm going to show you why that 1991 D penny could be hiding a whole lot more than you think. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be hunting for these pennies in your own collection, and trust me, you're going to want to know what to look for. So, why is the 1991 D mint mark Lincoln penny worth so much money? I mean, let's be real. A penny is just, well, a penny, right? It's something you toss into a jar, used to swipe for parking meters, or maybe, if you're like me, get stuck in the bottom of your couch cushions where they disappear forever. But here's the kicker, that 1991 D penny, if it's got the right set of characteristics, could be worth over $1.8 million. Now, you might be thinking, what in the world makes it so valuable? Let me break it down for you. The reason this particular penny is so rare is because of a tiny error made at the US Mint during its production. You see, most coins are struck with perfect detail, but every once in a while, something goes wrong, and when it does, collectors take notice. The 1991 D penny in question has a unique double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice with the die, creating a doubled image. In this case, the doubling is on the date and some parts of Lincoln's portrait. It's subtle, but when you know what to look for, it can make a huge difference in value. The cool thing about errors like this is that they're incredibly rare, which means they're highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, how do I spot one of these pennies? I don't want to go through every penny in my wallet. Trust me, you don't need to sift through every coin in circulation. To make it easy for you, let me give you the basics of what to look for. The doubling is most noticeable on the 1991 part of the coin. If you notice a double outline or a slight shadow behind the numbers, you've got yourself a winner. You should also look for doubling around Lincoln's eye and hairline. This isn't always obvious, but when you know where to look, it's like a treasure hunt. The D mint mark on the coin should be clear, but if you see a slight doubling there too, it might just be your ticket to the big time. Speaking of treasure hunts, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was browsing through some old coins I had inherited from my grandfather. Nothing too exciting, just some 1950s nickels and pennies. Then one day, I came across this dull, worn penny. It didn't look like anything special at first. But something told me to take a closer look. Lo and behold, it was a 1943 copper penny. Now, for those of you who don't know, the 1943 copper penny is one of the most famous error coins in history, and it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That day, I learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, it's the ones that look the most ordinary that turn out to be the most extraordinary. So, don't underestimate that 1991 D penny sitting in your collection. It could be the one that makes you a fortune, alright? So you've spotted the doubling on the date in Lincoln's face, now what? Well, now it's time to find out how much that coin is worth. You can start by checking reliable sources like the Red Book, a collector's Bible, or reputable online coin marketplaces to see how much similar pennies are selling for. The market value can fluctuate, but right now, some of these pennies are going for upwards of $1.8 million, depending on their condition and the rarity of the error. And now, not every 1991 D penny with a double die error is worth $1.8 million. Condition matters a lot here. A coin with heavy wear and tear won't fetch as much as one in pristine condition. If you find one of these coins in uncirculated condition or with minimal wear, you're looking at a much higher value. The grading scale used by professionals can help determine a coin's worth, and coins with a grade of MS65 or higher are typically the ones you want to look out for. So, there you have it, the 1991 D Lincoln penny, a simple coin that could be hiding a huge payday. If you're lucky enough to have one of these in your collection, it might just be worth a small fortune. If this video has inspired you to go dig through your penny jar, or your couch cushions, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on how to find coins worth money. I'll be posting more videos about valuable coins and sharing my coin hunting adventures with you. Don't miss out, who knows what hidden treasures you might discover next. Did you know you could be sitting on $1 million penny right now? Yeah, you heard that right, a single, tiny Lincoln penny could make you a millionaire. And no, this isn't some clickbait nonsense or a dream you had after binge-watching treasure hunting shows. We're talking about the 2017 D mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin currently valued at a staggering $1.1 million. So, check your pockets, your couch cushions, and even that old jar of coins Grandma gave you, because today, I'm spilling all the secrets about this rare treasure and why it's worth so much. And stick around to the end, because I've got a funny and slightly embarrassing story about my own coin hunting adventure. So, let's break it down. What's so special about the 2017 D mint mark Lincoln penny? First, the D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular penny was made. While millions of pennies are minted every year, only a tiny fraction end up with unique errors or characteristics that make collectors lose their minds. And the 2017 D penny? It's one of those rare gems. This coin became famous for its unusual die error. Imagine the machinery at the mint working overtime, and somewhere along the way, a little hiccup happened. Maybe someone forgot their morning coffee, or the machine decided to have a bad day. The result? A slight misprint or doubling effect on this penny, making it incredibly rare and highly sought after. And when collectors find rare coins, they're willing to pay big bucks to get their hands on them. Now, you might be thinking, okay, $1 million for a penny? Really? Yes, really. Coins like this are basically the Mona Lisa of pocket change. Collectors don't just see a penny, they see history, artistry, and, frankly, bragging rights. But here's the kicker: you don't need to be some expert or have fancy tools to find one of these bad boys. All you need is a good eye and a bit of patience. So, the next time you're about to toss your loose change into that vending machine for a snack, take a closer look. Who knows? That little penny could pay for a lifetime supply of snacks, and then some. Let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the coin jackpot. A few months ago, I found an old penny in my junk drawer. It looked odd, shinier than usual, and had a little imperfection. I was convinced it was one of these $1,000,000 coins. I even bragged to my friends, "Guys, I'm retiring early, buying an island, and naming it Penny Paradise." So, I sent pictures to a coin expert online, feeling like a total genius, by the way, and guess what? It turned out to be just a regular old penny. Yep, I went from millionaire dreams to realizing I'd hyped up 1 cent. But hey, it taught me something important: always double check your coins, because the next one could actually be the real deal. So, what's the takeaway here? First, the 2017 D Lincoln penny is no joke, it's a tiny treasure worth a life-changing amount of money. Second, never underestimate your loose change. Check every coin, because you never know what you'll find. And finally, if you're into this kind of stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of coin enthusiasts. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to help you turn pocket change into life-changing money. And one last thing, if you do find a 2017 D penny worth $1.1 million, remember who told you about it first. A little finder's fee wouldn't hurt, right? Just kidding, kind of. Now go check your coins, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're sorting through your pocket change, maybe grabbing a soda or dropping quarters in a vending machine, and bam! You spot a little copper coin that could be worth, wait for it, $1.2 million. Yep, I'm talking about the 1978 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Who knew such a small coin could pack such a massive financial punch? Stick around, because today we're diving deep into why this penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you might find one hiding in plain sight. Before we jump in, let me share a quick story. When I was a kid, I used to collect pennies in a big glass jar. My grandma told me, "You never know what treasures you might have." Of course, at the time, I was just thinking about buying candy. Little did I know that one of those little coins could have changed my life. So, if you're a collector, a hobbyist, or just someone who loves a good underdog story, you're in for a treat. Let's get started. Okay, let's break it down. The 1978 D penny gets its name from the D Mint mark, which means it was minted in Denver. Over 4 billion, yes, billion, of these pennies were made. So why on earth is one of them worth $1.2 million today? Simple, not all pennies are created equal. Some of these coins were minted with unique errors or variations that make them incredibly rare. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Coin collectors love a good mistake, kind of like when a celebrity tweets something they shouldn't. In this case, the most valuable 1978 D pennies have errors like off-center strikes, double dies, where the image looks like it's been stamped twice, or even misaligned mint marks. These quirks turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. So, how do you know if you've got one of these golden, well, copper, tickets? First, grab a magnifying glass or a good pair of reading glasses, your eyes will thank you. Check for the D should be clear, but if it's doubled, tilted, or looks a little wonky, you might have a winner. Look at Lincoln's face or the words, "In God We Trust." If the letters or features appear doubled, that's a major clue. Is the coin perfectly round? If it looks a little off-center, that could be another sign of an error. A word of advice: don't get too excited if your penny just looks old and beat up. The real value comes from these specific minting errors, not regular wear and tear. Here's the thing about coin collecting: it's all about rarity and demand. The 1978 D penny with errors is super rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar to add it to their collection. Think of it like limited edition sneakers or rare Pokemon cards. The fewer there are, the more people want them. Add a juicy auction and suddenly, the price skyrockets. The record-setting $1.2 million 1978 D penny was sold at an auction where people were practically bidding with their jaws on the floor. Can you imagine? One penny, more than $1 million. That's enough to make you double-check your couch cushions, isn't it? Now, here's the part you've been waiting for: how you can find one of these gems. Start by checking the coins you already have lying around. I mean, who doesn't have a jar of pennies somewhere? Pay close attention to those minted in 1978 with the D mark. You can also hit up local coin shops, flea markets, or even eBay. But be cautious, fake coins are a thing, and you don't want to get scammed. Invest in a coin book or app that lists all the key details about valuable coins. It's like having a cheat sheet for treasure hunting. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 1978 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a little coin that could be worth a fortune. Who would have thought that a piece of pocket change could buy a house, a car, or even a dream vacation? Makes you want to dig through your change jar right now, doesn't it? But here's the deal, this is just the beginning. There are so many other coins out there with hidden value, and I'm here to help you uncover them. If you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I'll be sharing more tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn your coin collection into cash. And hey, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? What's the most valuable penny in your collection? Let's swap stories, because who knows? Your next penny could be the $1 million jackpot. Alright, folks, imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, mindlessly tossing pennies aside when bam, you realize one of those tiny, overlooked coins is worth $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right, million, with an M. What if I told you that could happen to you, especially if you've got a 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny lying around? Today, we're diving into the story behind this valuable coin, why it's worth so much, and how you could strike gold, or in this case, copper. So grab your loose change, because this isn't just a story about pennies, it's a potential life changer. Let's get into it. Okay, quick history lesson. The 1966 Lincoln penny was part of a wild time in U.S. coin history. Back in the mid-60s, the government decided to ditch mint marks temporarily. Why? They wanted to reduce coin collecting and encourage coins to stay in circulation. Little did they know, this would create a frenzy years later when collectors realized how rare these mint markless coins actually were. And now, here's the kicker: most 1966 pennies are just worth their face value, 1 cent. But every so often, a special penny surfaces. One in pristine condition, uncirculated, and graded incredibly high by experts. That's the kind of penny that sells for jaw-dropping amounts, like $1.3 million. Yep, one of these bad boys recently sold at auction for that amount, and it's all because of its condition, rarity, and the frenzy of collectors eager to own a piece of history. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, the one where you throw everything from rubber bands to random keys to who knows what. Anyway, I found a penny that looked different. It was old, shiny, and had no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be one of those pennies? I rushed to my computer, Googled like my life depended on it, and even pulled out a magnifying glass. It turned out to be a 1966 penny, but it wasn't in the greatest shape. I took it to a local coin dealer, and they said, "Sorry, this one's seen better days." Total buzzkill, but hey, now I know what to look for, and so will you after this video. Alright, let's talk about what makes these pennies so valuable and how you can find one. Your penny needs to look like it's just been minted. No scratches, no dirt, no signs of wear. Think of it like trying to sell a car. It's worth a lot more if it's still shiny and new. If you think you've hit the jackpot, don't just guess, get the coin professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. These folks know their stuff and can tell you how much your penny is really worth. Coins like this usually sell for big bucks at auctions. Look for major coin auctions or online marketplaces where collectors hang out, and hey, even if your penny isn't worth $1 million, some lesser grade 1966 pennies still sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Not too shabby for a piece of pocket change, right? So, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a penny. That 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might be hiding in your piggy bank, waiting to change your life. Before you go, let me ask you this: when's the last time you actually checked your coins? If the answer is never or not recently, it's time to start. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more tips on coins worth big bucks, stories of incredible finds, and strategies to turn your change into a fortune. Who knows? Your next video binge here might just lead you to $1 million discovery. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers! Imagine digging through your spare change and finding a penny worth $1.40 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.4 million for a 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving deep into the wild world of rare coins, and I'll tell you exactly why this humble penny is worth a fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know why checking your coins might just be the smartest hobby ever. Before we start, quick confession: I once spent a rare penny at a vending machine. Yep, true story. But hey, mistakes make for great stories, right? Now, let's make sure you don't make the same mistake. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. What makes this 1994 no-mint mark penny so valuable? First, the no-mint mark part is key. Coins without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, and while they made tons of pennies that year, a few of these 1994 pennies have a special trait: they were struck on the wrong planchet. That means they're on a metal disc meant for a different coin, which makes them lighter and shinier than normal pennies. Collectors love errors like this because they're super rare. It's like finding a misprinted baseball card or a rare Pokemon card. Except, this one's worth enough to buy a house. Or at least a really fancy tiny house. In California. So, how did someone figure out this penny was special? Story time. A sharp-eyed collector noticed something weird about their pocket change. The penny felt lighter and looked shinier than usual. Turns out, it was made of zinc, but it didn't have the proper copper coating. This error wasn't caught by the US Mint Quality Control. Lucky for them, right? Unlucky for the Mint. I like to imagine a Mint employee somewhere going, "Oops. There goes $1 million mistake." Here's the kicker: this penny sold for a whopping $1.40 million at auction. Why? Because error coins are like the unicorns of numismatics. Serious collectors will shell out big bucks to own a piece of history, especially when it's as rare as this. But don't just take my word for it, let's break it down. It's rare. Rarity drives value in the coin world. It's got a fascinating story. A flawed yet beautiful masterpiece, kind of like me on Mondays. It's in pristine condition. Coins graded as mint state, MS, by professionals fetch top dollar. So, if you've got a penny with scratches and dings, don't quit your day job just yet. If you think you've got a valuable coin, get it professionally graded. It might cost a bit, but hey, it could turn your penny into a millionaire's dream. Now, here's the part where you come in. Start by checking your coins at home. Dump out that jar of change, raid your couch cushions, and go treasure hunting. Look for a 1994 penny without a mint mark. If it looks shiny or feels a little light, you might just have a winner. And don't forget, condition is king. Keep your coins safe from scratches, dirt, or, accidentally sending them through the washing machine. Learn that the hard way. Who knows? Your next McDonald's order could come with a side of $1.4 million. Alright, folks, here's the bottom line: checking your change could literally change your life. And even if you don't find a $1.4 million penny, this hobby is fun. It's like a scavenger hunt where the treasure is cold, hard cash. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that subscribe button for more tips on spotting rare coins and making money from your spare change. Don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Let's get the conversation rolling. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," tell them, "It might just be a fortune." See you in the next video. Have you ever glanced at a random penny in your pocket and thought, "This thing's worth a penny"? Well, hold on to your hats or wallets, because I'm about to blow your mind. Imagine finding a penny worth not just 1 cent, but $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire overnight. Hi, I'm Jake, your friendly guide through the wild world of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just likes shiny things, this video is for you. Today, we're diving into what makes this 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so insanely valuable. Plus, I'll share a little story about how I almost missed a treasure hiding in plain sight. So grab your coffee or your piggy bank and let's get started. First things first, what's a no-mint mark penny? Basically, it means the coin doesn't have a little letter indicating where it was minted. Most pennies from 2006 will have a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But a no-mint mark coin? That's a Philadelphia special, except this one isn't just special. It's legendary. So, why is it worth $1.5 million? It all comes down to errors. This penny was struck with a rare die error, creating unique features that make collectors go bananas. Think of it like a limited edition sneaker drop, but for coins. There are so few of these pennies out there that they become the holy grail for numismatists, fancy word for coin nerds, that here's where it gets juicy. The 2006 no mint mark penny has a slightly doubled die. Basically, some of the details look like they have shadows. If you squint at Lincoln's profile or the letters, you might notice subtle doubling. These small imperfections are what drive the price sky high. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable penny. One afternoon, I was cleaning out my car, the black hole where loose change goes to die. I found a penny and thought, just another penny. But something made me take a closer look. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions, but it did turn out to be a rare wheat penny worth $50. Imagine if I tossed a $1.5 million coin without even knowing. Here's the fun part, you might already have one of these bad boys sitting in your change jar. The key is to check every 2006 penny you come across. Look for no mint mark and inspect it closely for doubling on the letters or Lincoln's image. If you're unsure, grab a magnifying glass or, better yet, take it to a coin expert. Trust me, they'll be just as excited to see it as you are, and let's talk about condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition fetch the highest prices. So, if you find one of these pennies, don't spend it on vending machine snacks, get it graded by a professional. So, there you have it, the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you rich. Who knew a tiny piece of copper could hold so much value? If you've got spare change lying around, now's the perfect time to start your treasure hunt. Before you go, here's a challenge, check your pocket right now and comment below if you find any interesting coins. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune. If you loved this video and want to learn more about coins that could change your life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post weekly tips, stories, and strategies to help you discover hidden gems in your collection. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're at the checkout counter, casually digging through your loose change, when bam! You spot a penny. It looks just like every other penny you've seen until you realize it's not. What if I told you that little coin could be worth $1.6 million? That's right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2018 mint mark Lincoln penny. Could it be sitting in your pocket or under your couch cushions right now? Stay tuned, because I'm about to spill all the details on why this coin is worth a fortune and how you might just hit the jackpot with one of these bad boys. Let's start with the basics. The 2018 mint mark Lincoln penny was produced at the Denver Mint, hence the D. At first glance, it's your run-of-the-mill penny. Same OL copper-coated zinc, same Honest Abe staring back at you, same shield design on the reverse. But here's the kicker, not all 2018 pennies are created equal. So, what makes one of these pennies worth enough to buy a mansion? The answer lies in its rarity and a one-of-a-kind error. Back in 2018, during the minting process, a few pennies came out with a major die error. Think of it like a factory defect but way cooler. This error turned a humble penny into a collector's dream. The exact details of the error vary, but they include things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or even rare minting anomalies that shouldn't exist. Okay, now let's get practical. How do you know if your 2018 penny is the penny? Start by grabbing a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera zoom. Check the mint mark and the lettering. If anything looks doubled, warped, or just plain funky, you might be onto something. Also, examine the edges. Sometimes errors show up there, but here's a pro tip. If you think you've got the golden ticket, don't just toss it in your piggy bank. Take it to a professional coin grader, like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade the coin, which is crucial if you want to cash in on that $1 million value. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, the place where all good junk goes to live. I found a penny stuck in the cup holder, practically glued down by an ancient soda spill. I almost threw it away. But curiosity got the best of me, and I took a closer look. It wasn't a 2018 but it turned out to be a rare wheat penny from 1943. Sold it for $500. Not bad for a coin that was basically a sugar-coated fossil. So, moral of the story? Always check your change, it could literally change your life. So, you've checked your pennies, and you think you've got a winner. First, don't freak out. Okay, maybe freak out a little. Then, follow these steps, get the coin graded and authenticated, keep it safe. A coin worth $1.6 million deserves better than the bottom of your junk drawer at research auction houses or collectors who specialize in rare coins. They're your best bet for cashing in. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. The 2018 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest things can hold massive value. So, the next time you're about to toss your change into that jar on the counter, take a second look. Who knows? That little coin could be your ticket to a dream vacation, a new car, or, heck, early retirement. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way. And hey, if you've got a coin story of your own, drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear it. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Imagine this, you're at the grocery store, you hand over a penny as part of your change, and boom, the little coin is worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Crazy, right? Today, we're diving into the wild world of the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yep, that ordinary-looking penny might just be the ticket to a massive payday. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so special and how you can find one for yourself. And hey, if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now because who doesn't want more tips on turning pocket change into a fortune? Let's jump in.so. What's the story with this seemingly regular penny? First, let's break it down. The 2015 Lincoln penny is part of the iconic series featuring Honest Abe himself. But here's the kicker, this particular coin doesn't have a mint mark. Normally, pennies made in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so you might think, what's the big deal? Well, it's all about a rare minting error. These pennies are supposed to be pretty standard, but in a freak accident, a small batch came out with a flaw that made them exceptionally valuable. This could be anything from a double die error to a planchet issue, but the point is, it's rare, it's weird, and collectors absolutely love weird coins. Okay, $1.7 million for a penny? That's the kind of math I wish my bank account had. The value comes from a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. Think of it like a super exclusive club where only a handful of coins qualify. A pristine 2015 no-mint Mark penny recently sold for $1.7 million at auction because it's one of the finest examples of this error coin, and here's where it gets fun, most people don't even know this coin exists. So yes, there could be one sitting in a jar on your kitchen counter or hiding between your couch cushions. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, that black hole of random stuff, and I stumbled across a handful of pennies. One of them looked off. I started Googling like a mad person, and for a hot second, I thought I hit the jackpot. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But that moment of thinking I was a millionaire for 5 minutes? Priceless. And hey, it's the reason I got into coin collecting, so maybe it wasn't a total loss.so. How do you know if your penny is the one? First, look for a 2015 penny with no mint mark. Next, inspect it for any strange details, doubled letters, odd ridges, or anything that doesn't look quite right. You can even grab a magnifying glass or one of those cool coin microscopes. If you think you've got something special, send it off to a professional grading service. They'll tell you if your penny is just a penny or if it's your golden ticket. If you're thinking, but I don't even have pennies lying around, don't worry, I've got you. Start by checking your change. Hit up flea markets, yard sales, or even coin rolls from the bank. One person's penny is another person's fortune, right? Oh, and don't forget to ask Grandma if she's got an old coin jar tucked away. You'd be surprised what treasures are hiding in plain sight. Can we take a second to talk about how hilarious it would be to tell your friends you're a millionaire because of a penny? Hey, what's your secret to success? Oh, just casually found a $1.7 million coin in my car cup holder. The look on their faces would be priceless. Alright, folks, it's time to take action. Check your pockets, your couch, your car, and that jar of coins you've been meaning to cash in. Who knows? You could be sitting on a life-changing treasure without even realizing it. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies, remember me when you're swimming in your millions. Before you go, make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more tips on turning everyday coins into big money. Share this video with a friend who always says, it's just a penny, because, clearly, it's not. Thanks for watching, and happy treasure hunting. Don't forget, this channel is all about helping you uncover hidden treasures. So, join the community, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and let's keep this conversation going. See you in the next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know you're all excited about coins, who wouldn't be? But today, we're talking about something that might just blow your mind. Imagine finding a coin in your change that's not just a penny, but a ticket to possibly $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is worth more than some of us make in a lifetime. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start checking every single penny in your pocket like it's the holy grail of coins. But before we dive into the incredible world of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies to get your hands on coins that can make you a small fortune. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned for this one. So, we're talking about the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. But what makes this little piece of copper worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Let me break it down for you, and stick with me, because this is where things get interesting. Now, let me start with a little coin story of my own. A few years back, I was at a yard sale, just casually hunting for old stuff, and I picked up a mason jar full of loose coins. You know, just your regular stash of pennies, nickels, and a few dimes. I was about to walk away when I noticed something strange. One penny didn't look quite like the rest. It had this dull shine, almost like it had been sitting in a drawer for decades. Guess what? It was an old 1940-something penny. Not worth $1.8 million, but hey, a good find, right? I tell you that story because this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when that shiny, beat-up penny is going to turn out to be a gold mine. And that's exactly what happened with the 1980 no-mint mark penny. You see, when a penny is minted at the US Mint, it's supposed to have a mint mark to show where it was produced. Normally, you'd find mint marks on pennies from Denver, D, Philadelphia, P, and San Francisco, S. But in 1980, something rare happened. Some pennies rolled off the press with no mint mark at all. Why? Well, that's still a bit of a mystery. But here's where it gets fun. These pennies, without that mint mark, are super rare, and if you find one in mint condition, it could be worth more than just its copper value. Now, let's talk numbers. At this very moment, a 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine, uncirculated condition is worth $1.8 million. Yes, I'm serious. It's not a typo. And why is it so valuable? Well, there are a few reasons. First off, let's talk rarity. The number of these 1980 no-mint mark pennies produced was low. While the US Mint still made tons of pennies that year, these specific missing mint mark coins are crazy hard to find. Collectors go wild over them because they're not something you can just walk into a store and pick up. Then, we have the condition. Like with any coin, its value skyrockets if it's in great condition, so if you happen to find a 1980 penny that's been preserved in mint condition, well, you might just be looking at a small fortune. Think about it, if I told you a penny could be worth $1.8 million, you'd probably think I was joking, right? But, it's the truth. There's a bidding war out there, and the demand for rare coins is growing like crazy. Here's where things get interesting, though. Most people, even collectors, overlook these pennies because they don't know what to look for. So, imagine this, you're at a flea market, going through a box of loose change, and bam! You find one of these beauties. You're probably not even going to think twice. But, if you know what you're looking for, you're looking at a small fortune now. I know some of you might be thinking, that's too good to be true. And you know what? I totally get it. It sounds like a fairy tale. I mean, we've all heard the crazy stories about people finding valuable coins in old shoeboxes or at estate sales. But let me tell you, this isn't some magical story. This is real. And you don't need a fortune to start looking for these coins. Just a bit of time and patience, and maybe a magnifying glass, and you could be well on your way to finding your own little treasure. Alright, so there you have it, the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's not just a penny, it's an opportunity. You don't need to be a coin expert to find valuable pennies like these, you just need to keep your eyes peeled and a bit of luck on your side. Who knows, maybe that pocket change you're ignoring today could be the key to unlocking $1.8 million tomorrow. So, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies to discover the valuable coins hiding in your collection. And if you've ever found a crazy coin that turned out to be worth a lot of money, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey, fellow coin enthusiasts! Are you ready for a story that's about to make you take a closer look at every penny you have lying around? I hope you're sitting down, because today we're talking about the 1982 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.1 million. If you're like me, you've probably spent a good chunk of your life tossing pennies into jars or just shoving them in your pockets without a second thought. Well, after hearing this, you might want to start checking those pockets more carefully. Stick around, because you might just find out that you're richer than you think. Alright, let's dive into it. The 1982 D. Lincoln penny doesn't sound too exciting at first, right? After all, 1982 isn't exactly ancient history. It's not like you're dealing with a penny from the 1800s or something that's been buried in a time capsule for centuries. But trust me, this little coin is anything but ordinary. So, here's the deal. In 1982, the US Mint made a big change with its pennies. They switched from the copper-based penny to a zinc core penny, which is a whole other story for another time. But some of those 1982 pennies ended up with a special twist, a mistake during the production process that created a handful of 1982 D pennies with a copper core. And guess what? These coins are now worth a fortune. Imagine this: you're at a yard sale. You've got your coffee in hand, you're chatting with the neighbor, and you spot a jar of pennies in the corner. You ask, how much for the jar, and the person says, oh, just a few bucks for the whole lot. Now, normally, you'd grab the jar and walk away, not thinking twice about those pennies. But what if I told you that in that jar, there could be one of those rare 1982 D pennies? That one coin, if it's in mint condition, could be worth a cool $1.1 million. I mean, imagine you're casually flipping through pennies you got for a few bucks, and bam, there it is. The gold mine in your hand. Sounds too good to be true, right? But that's exactly how collectors and enthusiasts have struck it rich by finding these rare pennies. It's like a treasure hunt, only the treasure is hiding in plain sight, and it's sitting in your pocket change. But wait, let's not get too carried away. Just because you have a 1982 D doesn't mean it's worth $1 million. To really get top dollar, it has to meet a few key criteria. First, the penny needs to be in excellent condition: no rust, no scratches, no major wear and tear. It needs to look almost like it just came off the minting press. So, if you find a dirty, worn-down penny from 1982, don't get too excited. It's not going to make you a millionaire. Also, you'll want to make sure that the coin is indeed one of the rare copper core 1982 D pennies. The way to spot the difference is by using a magnet. The zinc-based pennies will stick to a magnet, but the copper core ones won't. If your penny doesn't stick, then congratulations, you might be holding onto something special. Speaking of finding treasure in unexpected places, let me tell you a quick story. A while ago, I was at a flea market, the one where you can find everything from vintage toys to questionable paintings, when I noticed an old coffee can full of loose change. Just sitting there, looking like it was worth a few bucks at most. Now, I'm not saying I'm a coin expert, but I've got a little experience with these things. I was digging through the change, not expecting much, when I pulled out a 1943 steel penny. My heart skipped a beat. It was worth way more than the $1.50 the seller was asking for it. I ended up walking away with a pretty decent find that day, and trust me, that feeling of finding a hidden gem is unbeatable. And now, imagine finding that rare 1982 D penny with the copper core. I can only imagine the excitement. You'd probably do a double take and then wonder if you're dreaming. But no, it's real. That's the beauty of collecting coins. It's like a mix of history, luck, and a little bit of treasure hunting. So, what's the takeaway here? Don't just toss your pennies away without a second thought. Go through them, check for those rare 1982 D copper core pennies, and see if you have a little fortune in your hands. It could be the difference between a few cents and $1.1 million. And hey, if you've learned anything from today's video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more tips on valuable coins and strategies to find hidden treasures. You don't want to miss out on more coin tips that could turn your collection into a gold mine. I'll be back with more fun, informative, and hopefully profitable coin tips. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be the most valuable. Catch you later, folks. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Welcome back to the old coins prices. You might want to check your pocket change or dig into that old coin jar because today we're talking about a Lincoln penny that could make you a small fortune. Yes, we're diving into the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Really? But trust me, this isn't just any penny. It's worth a whopping $1.2 million. I know, it sounds crazy, but stick with me, because you're going to want to hear this. So, grab your magnifying glass, a cup of coffee, and maybe a lucky penny, just in case. Let's talk about how a little coin like this could make you rich, alright? First things first, you're probably wondering, why is a 1977 penny worth so much? Isn't it just another penny from the 70s? Well, here's where it gets interesting. A lot of the time, pennies from this era aren't worth much more than their face value. You can find them in rolls at the bank or, let's be honest, in the bottom of your junk drawer. But the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is the exception to the rule. It's a rare coin, and we all know rare equals valuable. And now, let's get into the technical stuff. Normally, pennies from 1977 have a mint mark, which tells us where they were made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But the no-mint mark variety is a mystery. It's believed that there was a small batch of pennies that were struck without a mint mark, which means they're super rare. People have scoured through thousands of 1977 pennies looking for this elusive error, and the ones that have been found are selling for serious money, sometimes up to $1.20 million. It's not every day that a coin with no mint mark becomes $1 million treasure, right? This little penny isn't going to buy you a mansion just yet, but it could definitely fund a nice vacation to somewhere tropical or, maybe just pay off your student loans. And speaking of discovering rare coins, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my attic because, adulthood, and I came across a huge bag of old pennies. I thought, these are probably just junk. Who cares about a bunch of random pennies? But out of curiosity, I decided to look through them. After about an hour of flipping through the coins, I actually found a couple of 1940s wheat pennies in decent condition. Not $1 million, but hey, at least I found something. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might find a hidden gem like the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And now, let's talk about the condition of the penny. To get that $1.2 million value, the coin has to be in mint condition, meaning it should have no wear, scratches, or discoloration. If you're holding a 1977 penny with a little bit of wear and tear, don't be discouraged. It still holds some value, just not the jaw-dropping amount of the pristine ones. But here's the good news, even in less than perfect condition, a 1977 no-mint mark penny could still fetch a pretty penny. See what I did there? Oh, and just a heads up, if you're planning on selling this coin, the value can fluctuate depending on demand, condition, and the current market. Like with anything rare, some days the price is high, and other days it's lower. But that's just how the market works. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. If you've got a 1977 no-mint mark penny lying around, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And if not, don't worry, this just goes to show that there are coins out there that are worth way more than you might think. All you have to do is pay attention, know what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, your next trip to the bank or your next trip to your coin jar could lead to something amazing. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And hey, if you want more tips on finding rare coins, or maybe just want to hear more ridiculous stories of my personal coin hunting fails, spoiler, there are plenty, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more crazy coin discoveries like this one. Until next time, keep hunting, keep searching, and remember, those pennies add up, especially when they're worth $1 million. Catch you later, coin collectors. Hey there, coin collectors and curious folks. I've got a question for you. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny, who cares? Well, what if I told you that one day, you could pick up a penny and realize it's worth a small fortune, like, let's say, $1.3 million? Yep, you heard me right. Today, we're talking about the elusive 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that might just be hiding in your change jar or floating around your house. So stick around to find out if you've got a little treasure hiding in plain sight. Let's rewind a bit. You know how we've all heard the phrase, "a penny saved is a penny earned"? Well, in this case, a penny found could potentially be a penny earned in the millions, especially if it's a 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, this isn't your average penny. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare find in the coin world. Why? Well, let's break it down for you. First off, mint marks. You've probably seen them before on most coins, the little letter stamped on the coin that tells you where it was made. Normally, a penny will have a mint mark like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1967 penny, well, it doesn't have any mint mark. That's the first clue that something's different about it. So why is this such a big deal? To understand this, we need a little history lesson. Back in 1967, the US Mint was going through a transition, and a few of those Lincoln pennies slipped through the cracks without their usual mint marks. At the time, no one thought much of it, but coin collectors have since realized that those no mint mark pennies are super rare, and because of that rarity, they've become valuable over time. You might be asking, but how valuable is it, really? Well, a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny can fetch up to $1.3 million if it's in mint condition. And that's no joke. Sure, the condition of the coin plays a big role in determining its value, but even in just average condition, it can be worth quite a bit more than the 1-cent price tag it originally had. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've got a ton of old pennies, but none of them look like they'd fetch that kind of cash. And hey, I get it. A while ago, I was in the same boat. I was going through some change I had tucked away, hoping to find that elusive gold mine of coins. I remember one day, I thought I'd struck it big when I pulled out an old penny from 1943. Turns out it was just a regular one, and I might have gotten a little too excited. My friends still remind me of that moment with a laugh. But that's the fun of coin collecting. You never know what you might find, and sometimes, the best discoveries are completely random. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is an excellent example of why coin collecting can be such a thrill. Sometimes, it's not about looking for rare coins, but stumbling across them when you least expect it. But here's the thing, not every 1967 penny is going to be worth a fortune. Condition is key. These coins can range from a few $100s to over $1 million, depending on how well preserved they are. If you've got one of these rare beauties sitting in your collection, you might want to get it appraised by a professional to see what it's really worth. So, let's recap. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a hidden gem in the coin world, and it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. But here's the thing, it's not just about the money. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of learning about history, and sometimes, the sheer luck of stumbling across something amazing in your pocket change. If you've got a penny jar at home, go dig through it. Maybe you've got a treasure waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe your next YouTube video will be about the crazy day you found $1 million. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and tricks coming your way on how to spot valuable coins and what coins might just be worth more than your car. If you want to stay in the loop and discover more coins hiding in plain sight, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next episode. And hey, if you find a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, don't forget to send me a picture. I'll be over here trying to keep my excitement in check. Hey, what's up, coin collectors? Welcome back to the old coins prices. If you've ever glanced at a pile of loose change and thought, I wonder if any of this is worth more than what it says on the coin, then this video is for you. Today, we're talking about one penny that's been known to make people a whole lot more than just a penny. Yep, I'm talking about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little piece of copper can be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Sounds like a bad joke, right? But no, I promise, it's real, and by the end of this video, you might start digging through your change jar like it's the Holy Grail. So, buckle up, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into the world of one of the most surprising coins out there. Okay, let's start with the basics. A 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny, it sounds simple, right? But here's the twist. Normally, pennies minted in the US have a mint mark on them, right? This tells us where the penny was made. But in 1984, a few pennies slipped through the cracks with no mint mark. Now, that's unusual because by then, the US Mint had pretty much gotten their act together. So when you find one of these pennies, it's like finding a rare unicorn in your backyard. So, how does this happen? Well, it's all about a die error. The US Mint uses dies to stamp out the designs on coins. Normally, these dies are marked with the mint's location, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But somehow, in 1984, a few pennies were struck without that mint mark. And no, it wasn't part of some big plan or a new cool design. It was just a mistake, one of those oops moments in history that turned out to be worth a lot. Now, why does this matter to you? Because if you happen to have one of these 1984 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, it could be worth a small fortune. The value for a coin in good condition can still land you a few $100, but when a penny is in mint condition, we're talking about $1.4 million. Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm pulling your leg, but this coin has sold at auctions for that price. In fact, one such sale made headlines when a rare 1984 no mint mark penny was sold for a price that most of us would think belongs to a house, not a penny. Let me give you a little more context. The reason these errors are so valuable is because, well, errors make things rare. And collectors love rare things. If you have a 1984 no mint mark penny in your pocket, that's like finding a hidden gem that no one saw coming. It's a one in a million kind of thing, which makes it exciting and even better for your wallet. Now, a quick note on condition. The more pristine the penny, the higher the value. If your penny's been through some rough times, scratches, discoloration, and all that jazz, it won't be worth $1.4 million. But hey, it might still get you a few $100 depending on its state. The real jackpot comes from those perfect, uncirculated coins that still look like they were freshly minted yesterday. And to be honest, I'll be over here searching my couch cushions just in case one of these pops up. Speaking of coin hunting, let me tell you a quick story. Last year, I was at a family reunion, and my cousin and I were sitting around after dinner when we started going through some old coins our grandpa had kept. We laughed, looked at them, and thought, some of these are probably worth more as souvenirs than as money. But then, guess what? My cousin, being the curious one, noticed a 1984 penny sitting in the pile of change. Now, mind you, I wasn't looking for rare coins at the time, but he kept saying, wait, this doesn't look right. Is this a no mint mark? Long story short, we took it to a local coin dealer, and we found out that penny was worth around $300 just for being in decent condition. Now, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but let me tell you, when we found out that one penny could be worth that much, it felt like I'd hit the lottery. And that's what makes coin collecting so fun. You never know when you're going to stumble on something rare. My cousin and I still joke about that day every time we find a coin in the back of our drawers. So, now that you know the story behind the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you might be digging through your change pile or scouring old coin collections. But here's the catch, it's not just about finding the rare coin, it's about knowing what to look for. Always check your pennies, and if you find one with no mint mark from 1984, you could be sitting on something really valuable. $1.4 million valuable, in fact, and here's my call to action for you, don't miss out on future videos where we dive deeper into other valuable coins. You can't just rely on luck to strike gold, or copper, in this case, so make sure you're subscribed for more tips and coin hunting strategies. And hey, if you found any rare coins in your collection, drop a comment below and share your discovery with us. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and keep hunting, because you never know when that next coin might turn out to be worth a fortune. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're going through a bunch of loose change, looking for pennies to put in your piggy bank, and then bam! You find a 1970 D mint mark Lincoln penny. What's the big deal with that, you might ask? Well, if you're lucky enough, that penny could be worth a whopping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny, just one tiny penny, can be worth more than a new car, or, heck, even a down payment on a house. But how is this possible? Well, stick around because today, we're diving deep into why the 1970 D Lincoln penny is one of the most unexpected gold mines hiding in your spare change. And by the end of this video, you'll be on the lookout for pennies everywhere. So, don't go anywhere, alright, let's break this down. We all know that the Lincoln penny has been around for ages, but it's the 1970 D mint mark penny that has coin collectors absolutely buzzing. Now, if you're thinking, it's just a penny, what's so special about it? Let me give you a quick crash course in why this little copper beauty holds so much value. First off, the 1970 D mint mark penny isn't rare in terms of how many were made. In fact, there were millions of these babies struck at the Denver Mint. But here's where it gets interesting: some of them, just a small number, were made with a unique error. We're talking about a double die obverse, which means the design on the front of the penny, the side with Abe Lincoln, was struck twice, causing a slight shift in the image. It's a subtle flaw, but for coin collectors, it's gold, and we're talking literally gold, because a mint condition 1970 D double die can fetch up to $1.50 million. So, now you're probably wondering, how do I spot a 1970 D double die Lincoln penny? Well, it's all in the details. The most noticeable signs of this error are the doubling in the date, especially around the numbers 7 and 0. The lines of the digits are slightly doubled, so if you're holding a 1970 D penny and the date looks, well, kind of funky, that's a good sign. The doubling may also appear on the word liberty and the "In God We Trust" slogan. If it's not obvious, don't worry. You can always use a magnifying glass or even a digital microscope. A cheap one can go for $20 online. Trust me, it's worth it. Let me tell you a little story. A while back, I was going through a jar of pennies that I'd been collecting for years, probably stuff my grandmother handed me when I was a kid. I never thought much of it, to be honest. But one day, I was watching a coin video, probably like the one you're watching now, and the guy mentioned a 1970 D penny. I thought, what the heck, let's see what's in the jar. Fast forward to me pulling out the most worn-out penny you can imagine. I squinted at the date 1970 D, nothing special. But then I grabbed a magnifying glass, and wouldn't you know it, the date had a subtle double imprint. I nearly freaked out. Sure, it wasn't in mint condition, but it was a start. But here's the kicker: not every 1970 D penny is worth a fortune. The value skyrockets if it's in mint condition, and that's rare. Most of the time, these pennies you find are going to be worn, rusted, and not quite up to par. But hey, even if your penny isn't worth $1.5 million, don't be discouraged. Some of these pennies still hold value, and they can be worth a couple $100, depending on the condition. Now, if you do happen to come across one of these beauties in mint condition, that's the holy grail. It's time to take it to a professional to get it graded. Getting a coin graded can really make a difference in how much you'll get for it. You'll want to find a certified professional grader, like the ones at the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll give your coin an official grade, and that will determine whether you're sitting on a small fortune or just a regular penny. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 1970 D mint mark Lincoln penny is a prime example of how something that looks like junk can actually be a treasure. With its potential to be worth $1.5 million, that penny you're about to throw in your piggy bank could change your life. Just make sure you're checking the details carefully, because with a little bit of luck and some detective work, you could be sitting on a gold mine. If you're enjoying this deep dive into valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin secrets that could turn your spare change into something seriously valuable. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos. Plus, I'll be showing you how to spot other rare coins that could be worth big bucks. Got any cool coin stories of your own? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear about your finds and see what crazy treasures you've uncovered. Alright, imagine this for a second: you're flipping through your spare change, bored out of your mind, when suddenly, you come across a penny. Yep, a penny. You think to yourself, great, another penny to add to my jar of not worth much. But wait. What if I told you that very penny could actually be worth $1.6 million? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing: it happens, and it happened with a 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Stay tuned, because we're about to dive into how this seemingly ordinary penny could make you a fortune. Now, let's get serious for a second. If you've ever seen a 1972 penny, you probably thought, another one of those boring old coins. And I totally get that. I used to throw them in my drawer too, like most people, until I heard about this insane story of a 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny selling for a whopping $1.6 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.6 million, for something that looks just like every other penny from the 70s. It's like finding a hidden treasure in your laundry pile. Here's the kicker, though: it's not just any 1972 penny that's worth this crazy amount of money. It has to be a specific one, a 1972 penny with no mint mark. You're probably thinking, wait, what's a mint mark, and how do I know if my penny has one or not? Alright, calm down. Let me explain. Every year, the US Mint stamps a little mark on coins to show where they were made. For most pennies, there's a D if it was minted in Denver or an S if it was minted in San Francisco. But in 1972, some pennies were made in Philadelphia without any mint mark. And for whatever quirky reason, these mintless pennies are super rare and highly collectible. Okay, so imagine you've got this rare, mintless penny in your hand. You're holding something that could make you a millionaire. How does that happen, though? What's the deal with all these collectors going crazy for one little piece of copper? Well, it's all about rarity and condition. Collectors love finding coins that were made in limited quantities or with unique features. The 1972 no mint mark penny is one of those special cases. There are only a handful of them out there, and the condition they're in, whether they're shiny or worn, plays a huge role in how much money you can get for them. One of the biggest reasons these coins are so valuable is the fact that they didn't make too many of them without a mint mark. As you can imagine, that rarity factor is a huge part of why a 1972 no mint mark penny could easily hit $1.6 million at auction. Now, here's a fun little story from my own life. One time, I was going through my old coin collection, mostly just a bunch of random change from road trips and pizza deliveries, and I stumbled across a 1972 penny. I thought it was cool, but nothing special. Just another coin I'd toss in my future retirement savings jar. But then, something clicked. I remembered that 1972 no mint mark penny I'd read about, and I thought, hold on a second, let's check this thing out. Sure enough, after a quick glance, I noticed it didn't have a mint mark. So I sent it off for grading, and guess what? It wasn't worth $1.6 million, but it definitely gave me a lot of joy knowing I'd learned so much about coins that day. Moral of the story, don't just toss those pennies into a jar. They might surprise you. Alright, back to business. You might be wondering, how do I know if my 1972 penny is worth a fortune? Here's what you need to look for. This is the biggest indicator. If your 1972 penny has no D or S on it, then you're off to a great start. If it's got some wear and tear, it's not going to get you $1.6 million, but a well-preserved one can still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. This is where the magic happens. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more money your penny could be worth. And if you're wondering, how on earth do I find a penny like that? Well, I'd say keep hunting through your old change, visit flea markets, or even check out coin shops. But remember, don't just go for the first penny you see and think, that's it, I've struck gold. Okay, so now you know a little bit about the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's rare, it's valuable, and if you happen to stumble upon one, it could make you a lot richer than you expected. But here's the thing, most pennies are still just pennies, and that's okay. Not every coin is going to make you a millionaire, but hey, it's fun to check, right? If you want to stay in the loop on all the cool coins out there that might just be hiding in your pocket, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more tips and tricks on spotting valuable coins. Who knows? The next time you dig through your change, you might just find something that's worth way more than you think. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Old Coins Prices. Now, if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I've got a ton of pennies laying around, but I don't know if any of them are worth anything, well, I've got some great news for you. Today, we're talking about the 1976 D mint mark Lincoln penny. Sounds pretty boring, right? I mean, it's just a penny, how much could it possibly be worth? Well, buckle up, because this little copper coin might just blow your mind. We're talking about a value of $1.7 million. That's right. A penny. So, stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your spare change like you're auditioning for a role in Pawn Stars. Alright, let's get into it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, how on earth does a 1976 penny end up worth $1.7 million? That's the million-dollar question, well, literally. First things first, let's talk about what makes the 1976 D mint mark penny so special. If you look closely at the coin, you'll see a tiny D right under Abraham Lincoln's chin. That D is a mint mark, and it tells us that this penny was made at the Denver Mint. Now, the Denver Mint is famous for producing some really high-quality coins, but the 1976 penny has something else up its sleeve. You see, most of the 1976 pennies are pretty standard. They were part of a big push for the bicentennial celebrations here in the US, which is why they have that cool, funky reverse design. But here's the kicker: a small number of these coins were struck with a mistake, an error that made them super rare and super valuable. Some of these 1976 D pennies were struck on copper planchets that were supposed to be used for the older copper pennies, not the newer zinc ones. Now, I know what you're thinking: copper planchet? Zinc pennies? Are we talking about chemistry class or money here? But stick with me because this is where the magic happens. See, pennies are usually made from a mix of copper and zinc, but these error pennies? They were made from solid copper. And solid copper coins from that era, especially ones with that D mint mark, are a lot more valuable than your average, everyday penny. It's like finding a hidden gem in a pile of gravel. Let's take a moment to think about this in real-life terms. Picture it: you're cleaning out your grandma's attic, because we've all been there, and you find an old jar of coins she's been hoarding for decades. You flip through it, and bam, you come across a 1976 D penny. For years, you've just thought it was a regular penny, nothing special. But now, with this knowledge, you realize that this could be your ticket to a huge payday. You're holding a coin worth more than your car, your house, possibly even your student loans. Okay, maybe not quite that much, but you get my point. But how do you know if your 1976 D penny is one of these ultra-valuable ones? Great question. There's a simple test: check the weight and the sound. Regular 1976 pennies that are made from a mix of copper and zinc weigh around 2.5 grams. But those rare copper planchet error pennies? They're heavier, about 3.1 grams. Another fun way to test it is by dropping it and listening to the sound it makes. Copper coins have a distinct, heavier sound compared to the regular zinc pennies. Now, before you start Googling how to sell my 1976 D penny for $1.7 million, let me pump the brakes for a second. While this penny is incredibly valuable, it's also pretty rare to find one in perfect condition, which is why the highest value ones are auctioned for millions. A well-worn penny might not fetch anywhere near that amount, but even a worn one can still be worth a lot more than your average penny. We're talking hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on the condition. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, it's simple: don't just toss your pennies into a jar or throw them away. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. The 1976 D mint mark Lincoln penny is a great example of how a seemingly normal coin can turn into something extraordinary, and if you're feeling lucky, maybe you've got one of these rare error pennies hiding in your collection. But hey, even if you don't sweat it. There are plenty of other rare coins out there worth checking out, so keep your eyes peeled and your change jar ready. If you've enjoyed this little deep dive into the world of valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you can stay updated on all the latest tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins that are worth a lot of money. We've got plenty more videos coming your way to help you build your collection and maybe even turn it into a treasure trove. Who knows? Your next penny might just make you a millionaire. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Picture this: you're going through a jar of pennies you've had lying around for years, not thinking much of it. But then boom, you come across a penny that could be worth more than your car. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the magic of rare coins, and today, we're diving into one particular gem, the 1978 D mint mark Lincoln penny. This coin might just turn your old piggy bank into a gold mine. Now, I know what you're thinking: a 1978 penny worth over $1 million? No way. But trust me, it's true. Stick around, and I'll tell you exactly why this penny is so valuable, what makes it so special, and how you can spot one in your collection that could be worth $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, let's break it down. We've all seen those 1978 Lincoln pennies. They were made during the late 70s, and they look pretty standard, right? But the key to this coin's value is in the details. It's the 1978 D mint mark penny, meaning it was minted in Denver. Most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But here's the kicker: there's a rare variety of this coin that can fetch up to $1.8 million in the right condition, before you go rushing to your spare change jar, though, let's talk about what makes this coin so valuable. First off, it's all about rarity. Most 1978D pennies are common as dirt. In fact, over 4.2 billion of these coins were minted that year. But there's a small subset of them that were struck with a unique error, a double die, or a more dramatic doubling of the details on the obverse side, where Lincoln's face and the date are. This is what makes the 1978D penny so valuable. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is huge now. You might be wondering, how do I spot one of these pennies? Here's the trick: you're looking for a coin with clear doubling in the year 1978 and possibly the word Liberty or In God We Trust. The doubling will appear as a shadow or a second image next to the original design. It's a rare mistake from the minting process that creates a coin with more depth and detail, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. Here's a little story from my own coin collecting adventures. I once found a coin that looked like it had some extra lines on the date. I thought, hey, maybe it's just wear and tear, and tossed it aside. Fast forward a few months, I learned about error coins, and I realized I had probably let go of a potentially valuable piece of history. Don't make the same mistake I did. Always take a closer look at your pennies, but don't just take my word for it. Let's talk about the current market value of this penny. A 1978D penny with the right kind of doubling can sell for a mind-boggling $1.8 million. That's not just a hypothetical figure either. There have been documented sales of these error coins at auction, and they've fetched prices higher than you could ever imagine. So yes, that humble penny could actually be the key to unlocking some serious cash, but the fun doesn't stop there. Even if your penny isn't quite as rare, a well-maintained 1978D Lincoln penny can still fetch a decent price, depending on its condition. If it's in mint condition, it could be worth a few bucks. Still nothing to sneeze at if you have a whole jar of them lying around. Alright, folks, here's the takeaway: keep your eyes peeled, do some research, and don't let your penny slip through your fingers. That little 1978D penny might just be your ticket to a treasure trove. Now, I know coin collecting might seem overwhelming at first, but trust me, it's a journey worth taking. Every coin has its own story, and with a little knowledge, you can unlock that hidden value. So, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins that could make you a fortune, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more coin knowledge where this came from, and I promise you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Keep those pennies in check, because you never know which one might make you a millionaire. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or maybe you have a crazy coin story to share? Let's chat. And don't forget to subscribe for more insider tips on how to spot coins worth big money. See you in the next one.